Victims and suspects after a mass shooting in St. Paul.
Plus, the new federal investigation into if money in a Minnesota fraud case was sent to a terrorist group.
New developments this morning in a shooting in Edina, why police are now calling it a Facebook marketplace deal gone wrong, and how you can avoid a similar situation.
A local family says they're feeling grateful after a close call involving a trailer full of dogs. A look at how the scary scene unfolded during this weekend's slippery conditions and how those pups are faring now. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday in WCCO Mornings. We're streaming live on CBS News Minnesota. I'm AJ Hilton.
And I'm Heather Brown. Thanks for being on the stream with us this morning. We are following new developments out of St. Paul.
Police searching for additional victims and suspects after a mass shooting yesterday.
Our Barrett Leone is live outside of the St. Paul Police Department with the very latest on the case. Barrett?
Hey, good morning, Heather, AJ. Right now, police say they are still in the thick of this investigation. And while no one has been arrested in connection to this mass shooting yesterday, police do not believe there is any threat to the public at this time. Now, gunfire first rang out around 4:30 yesterday afternoon near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Police found 4 men shot, 2 in the street and 2 more behind a home nearby. All men are expected to survive. St. Paul police say canines and drones searched the area to make sure no one else was hurt. They're also looking for whoever pulled the trigger. One neighbor who didn't want to be on camera tells us they heard at least 30 shots fired.
I just heard a lot of shooting. I looked out my bathroom window and I saw people just running and I saw people stumbling and I said, oh, that guy limping and he must be shot. I'm a guy that come from this type of environment and I don't want to continue living in this environment. I want a better neighborhood for me and my kids.
Now, investigators are still sorting through everything that led up to this shooting. Again, at this time, no one has been arrested.
Barrett, thank you.
A story new this morning, another story out of St. Paul that we are continuing to follow. Police have identified the man killed in the Frogtown neighborhood shooting. This was from Sunday morning. Police say 32-year-old Tariq Hassan was shot inside an apartment building on North Victoria Street. That shooting happened just before 2 a.m. Police found Hassan face down, shot several times. He died at the scene. Another man has been arrested. He faces several charges, including second-degree murder.
New fraud charges coming out. These are related to pandemic relief programs. U.S. Attorney's Office has charged Tony Robinson with 5 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy offenses. Officials say he participated in a fraud scheme of more than $1 million. Now, they believe he worked with another man, Tarazi El Amin Champion. Both Robinson and Champion are accused of using a nonprofit to submit fraudulent grant applications to government and private programs and then keeping the money for themselves. Champion pleaded guilty to his charges. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison in mid-November.
Now to the latest from the live desk. Maria Lisignoli joining us now because, Maria, you're following an investigation into a different fraud case in Minnesota?
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the Trump administration is looking into whether Minnesota tax money found its way to a terrorist organization. Bessent blames Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the Biden administration, saying they're investigating, quote, allegations that hardworking Minnesotans' tax dollars may have been diverted to the terrorist organization Al-Shabaab. Republican members of the Minnesota delegation called on the U.S. attorney to investigate the allegations late last month. President Donald Trump has repeatedly blamed Governor Walz and Minnesota's Somali community for fraud and crime in the state. And Walz says he welcomes a federal investigation. We will, of course, continue to bring you updates on this story as we learn more.
Maria Lisignoli from the live desk with that update. Thank you, Maria. An update. Maria has updates here all weekday morning, 24/7 on our free streaming service, CBS News Minnesota.
So we do have an update this morning to a shooting in Edina. Police say this was a Facebook marketplace deal gone wrong. Police found an 18-year-old with a gunshot wound. This was in a grocery store parking lot right off of France Avenue. This was Sunday night. Police say the suspects are also teenagers. They're 16 and 17 years old. So here's video from Sunday. You can see investigators taking a closer look at bullet holes inside the side of a car. Police found the victim in that Lunds and Byerly's parking lot, that one over at 71st Street. But they say that the shooting actually happened at an apartment complex down the street. Investigators say they found footprints and tire tracks, but it was surveillance video that led them to the suspects. One man who lives nearby told us yesterday that he was waiting to hear if police had caught the shooter.
Me and my fiance, we went out together. to take the dog out, just like we don't know, because we hadn't heard last night that anyone was caught. So we were very cautious last night.
Police tell us that they believe the victim was in the car with the seller, and at this point they're not sure if the two groups knew each other. We also know lots of people use Facebook Marketplace, especially around the holidays. So here are some reminders to help you stay safe during a transaction. Number one, meet in a public place. Many police departments have places to make that swap publicly. Edina, in fact, has their own location in their police department lobby. Don't make the transactions alone. Avoid carrying large amounts of cash. And of course, if you are skeptical at all about the person you are meeting, go ahead and cancel it. Edina police say that during their investigation into these two teenagers, they did find a ghost gun. The two suspects were taken to the Hennepin County Juvenile Detention Center.
6 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. Live look over the downtown Minneapolis skyline. Next weather meteorologist Joseph Dames, like now's the time of year where you actually have to budget extra time into your schedule to start the car early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you need that extra 5 to 10 minutes to go outside, maybe scrape the windows.
Yep.
Get all that stuff ready now.
It's a whole routine. Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes some time. And you might think that just starting the car from afar is going to be enough, but you'll probably still have a glaze. You have to get the chip, get the tool out to chip off the ice and give yourself some time this morning. You'll probably have that problem all week. It's going to be cold out there. There's going to be temperatures below freezing afternoon and mornings all week, and I don't see us really warming up until maybe on Friday. Next weather tower is green this morning. We are dry at this time, though later today there is a shot that we have, yes, a little bit of snow moving on in. I have the cities right now coming in at 15 degrees. It feels like 5 right now. There's a few areas of some patchy fog that we've seen reported. So just be careful, because with the temperatures this cold, we could have freezing fog out there, obviously, and that can lead to very icy bridges, and just vulnerable spots on the road. So just please be careful this morning. Satellite and radar. Satellite showing some clouds about the 94 corridor east. So in those locations where the clouds are almost a tool as if they're a blanket, is giving our temperatures a little bit warmer. Where it's clear and you can see the stars this morning, or you're maybe going to get the sunrise here shortly, it's a lot colder. It's feeling like 5 degrees out there. So you can see it's warmer this morning than yesterday in the cloudy areas, and colder in those spots where it's clear. Wind speed's about 5 to 10 miles per hour, so it's going to feel a little chillier. You can see that we're going to be feeling more like 5 this morning, so just bundle up. And this is not the coldest morning this week, okay? Wednesday night to Thursday, I see some very vicious temperatures before we warm up on Friday. So we'll talk more about that cold air, and when we'll see another shot for some snow, I'll have that coming up at 7:30.
All right, Joseph, thanks. Take a look now at your next drag. I'm going to take you up to Brooklyn Park this morning. So this is Highway 610. I bring you up here because this is a spot that MnDOT is telling us is partially covered. It doesn't look like there's a lot of snow out there, but we have seen a sheen on many of the roads out there this morning. So just be careful if you're headed out the door. Otherwise, no crashes to report right now. Traffic is starting to pick up, to slow down a little bit as people are headed out the door.
We got a piece of video that you need to see for yourself. It's a scary moment caught on camera as a trailer hauling sled dogs overturned on an icy interstate.
Now, if you take a close look, you see the driver. That's it right there. Lose control on a bridge. This is on 394 in Minnetonka. It happened Saturday morning. Trailer tips and slides, spilling several dogs onto the highway. WCCO's John Lauritsen shares how human teamwork helped them all dodge danger.
Silent Run Adventures is anything but silent on a Monday morning. But seeing his huskies vocal and playful has owner Jack Christopher feeling a sense of relief, especially after what happened on Saturday.
The back end came loose on me and corrected. Pretty soon the trailer was moving, and
Jack and his wife Chris had 9 of their dogs in a trailer and were driving to an event in Excelsior. Traffic cameras caught the moment they hit a slick patch on 494. As Jack tried to regain control, his trailer basically split in half on the freeway.
next thing I knew, I looked in my side view mirror and I could see plywood. I thought plywood, and it was the bottom of my trailer. Mostly I was worried about the dogs.
Though they were scared, 8 of the dogs were unharmed, but a husky named Haas got loose.
That Haas, he's the one that was running down the freeway.
It was a worst-case scenario, but Chris eventually caught up with Haas, while a state trooper, Minnetonka police and fire, and other drivers kept them out of more danger. One by one and in different vehicles, the Huskies were taken to a veterinarian in Excelsior. A dog named Rebel even got a ride in the back of a squad car.
All of the dogs involved in the accident appear to be okay, but they'll have to be monitored throughout the week to make sure they don't have internal bleeding.
The trailer is totaled, but it likely won't be long before the Huskies are back to doing what they do best.
It all happened so quick, but the outpouring of support from everywhere has been wonderful. The dogs are okay, that's most important.
In Monticello, John Lordson, WCCO News.
By the way, Jack credits the safety boxes in the trailer for the dogs not being seriously hurt. They're in the process of getting a new dog trailer. As a matter of fact, an online fundraiser has been set up to help them pay for that, along with veterinary expenses.
Coming up, a tribute to tradition.
The personal collection helping tell the story of St. Paul's Winter Carnival and a downtown display. And Shayla joins us with a place to celebrate the holidays with your entire family.
Absolutely. For the 5th year in a row, we are talking about Miracle at Big Rock, and it's getting bigger and better than ever. 25 million lights this year, up from last year, what you can expect when you visit St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, when we return.
look now at your next drive. Things starting to get busy here on this Wednesday morning, typically a busy time. Just be careful out there because some of the roads are a little slick. No major crashes right now, but we do have one over near the airport. Shoot, sorry. Did not mean to take you to that spot. Let's get you over there. Yep. We have here at Highway 55. So this is 55 going eastbound. You can see the tow truck is out there. Traffic just moving along right there in the left lane. It's not causing any major slowdowns, but we have seen a couple crashes like this morning. So as you head outside, make sure you be aware that there are some slick spots out on the road. So we know December is now here, and we are helping you get into the holiday spirit this morning. The Miracle at Big Rock over in St. Croix Falls has so much to do, so much to see for the families. And our Shayla Reeves has been out there all morning checking it out for us. It looks so cool, Shayla.
I know, Heather, and if you've been here before, they're continuing to add more and more lights. I'm here right now with Becky Lindblom. How big were you last year, and what are we talking about as far as lights this time around?
Last year we were at about 17 million. This year we're at about 25 million.
Just growing and growing and growing. And for folks that come to see you this time around, you've got 17 themed areas for them to check out. Now, some of those include the Miracle Moon, the S'more Land, Whoville, Singing Trees, Frozen Land, and of course you've got a new attraction, Ice Age Trail.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yep. The Ice Age Trail, we have a 15-foot 3D woolly mammoth that we made this year, and that's kind of a play off the movie, The Ice Age Trail. There's a couple different movies. There's also a Christmas Ice Age Trail movie where they are trying to find the North Pole and then going through the Northern Lights. And then there's also a national scenic trail here that starts in St. Croix Falls and goes across the whole state of Wisconsin, and it's called the Ice Age Trail.
Very cool. And for folks that are trying to decide what's the best night to come, you've got 17 themed nights for them to pick from too, right?
Mm-hmm, we do.
And some of those include, you've got a pajama night, faith night, you had a drive-through Veterans night that's coming up on December the 3rd, even ugly sweater night, a New Year's Eve barn dance and fireworks show. No shortage of activities for folks to enjoy.
That's right.
Yes, and in addition to that, if you're trying to plan your trip, you've got walk-through and drive-through options as well, right?
Yes, most Mondays and Tuesdays are drive-through. And then Wednesday through Sunday is walkthrough with a couple of adjustments throughout the season.
And while you're here, you can check out food trucks, holiday cocktails, Christmas character sightings, live reindeer visits, sledding hill, wagon rides. And for a little bit of an extra fee, you can have your picture with Santa experience. What does that include?
Yep, so that's a private, we call it Cookies with Santa. It's a private photo session with our professional Santa Claus and our professional photographer. You get to have Cookies with Santa. There's a couple photo sets to choose from, and it's a great little live interaction with Santa Claus.
And what's nice too is you all have everybody in mind. You've got, tell us about the mobility options that are available for free for folks who may need a little extra help canvassing the grounds.
Yes, for the second year now, we've brought back the Action Track Chair, brought to you by Sandpine Pheasants. They bring out the Action Track chairs, and what they are is we have 3 of them. They're basically a wheelchair that's on tracks, and it's for those, like you mentioned, who have mobility issues. They can rent those complimentary by the hour for the evening they like to come.
All right, very exciting. And if people want to find out more, what should they do?
They should head to our website at www.miracleatbigrock.com.
All right, and of course, we've got all those details for you. If you can't make it here this weekend, don't worry, you have plenty of time. They're open through January the 3rd. We're at 1674 State Highway 87 here in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. Miracle at Big Rock, getting bigger and bigger. And of course, Becky says they're not done adding lights. I can't wait to see what you're at next year.
Yeah, right?
Still growing, Heather. I'll send it back to you.
I just think it's so awesome. I'm so excited to go this year, just across the border over into Wisconsin. Shayla, thank you. So St. Paul is home to the longest running winter carnival in the country. You know that. Now, as it celebrates a milestone anniversary, Derek James has a look at a new display of its history.
As St. Paul counts down to its 140th Winter Carnival, history comes alive in a Grand Avenue storefront.
You want to put the other one here?
Where Tommy Barrett and a team of volunteers are building a tribute to the city's beloved winter tradition.
You know, this little piece from 1887, heavy as can be, but this is what the king would hand out. Now, this is the only one we've seen, so this is an example where, look at this item, and we have a bunch of stuff. We got hats that they wore in the parade. We got the Hilux gnomes.
For Tommy, this isn't just about putting up a display. It's celebrating a legacy. Much of what you see here is his.
I've collected going back to when I was first involved in Winter Carnival in 1971. Ran for junior royalty and lost.
Which were the best years?
Oh, well, true. It's, as they say, it's good to be king. So when I was Volcanus Rex, we traveled all over the country, as well as local communities, St. Paul. But the people you meet, the volunteers, it's just fabulous.
St. Paul is very unique in that they believe that coming together matters still.
Lisa Jacobson, the carnival's executive director, says that passion and participation from community is why the tradition continues in full form.
We're still 10 days. We've always been 10 days. We didn't cut that back, even during the hard times. You know, we rose up and said, we're going to do this no matter what it looks like.
From the signature buttons. I mean, these first ones are the size of a penny.
Yes, yeah, and people, it's got a little hole. Bottom one to wear as a necklace. Or if you find one, keep it.
To the Ice Palace lithographs, the St. Paul Winter Carnival is about more than just the traditions surrounding the royal family and the Vulcan crew. It's about being a part of something bigger and connecting generations.
Bringing that legend to life in St. Paul. That's what keeps it going.
With photojournalist Tony Peterson.
Take a look at some of the history, get involved.
Derek James, WCCO News.
Here's a fun way to stay active while escaping the cold. Starting today, runners or skaters, they can race around the concourse over at US Bank Stadium. This is part of their winter warm-up program. So it's open most Tuesdays and Thursday nights for the next 8 weeks. Open to everybody, all ages here. Tickets $15. You can get them online at usbankstadium.com. And whether you like it or not, our winter weather is here, and that's for the people who are building those St. Paul ice castles. It's a welcome sight. Ice artisans hard at work getting their icicles together to create some amazing structures. Frozen facades coming together. They'll make fortresses and slides and tunnels. Tickets go on sale today if you want to check them out. The ice castles are expected to be ready in early January, but that could change with the weather. Still to come, we have new updates in the case of a former CEO who is accused of stealing money from the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce, with details on the sentence he now faces. And we are taking another look at the race for governor as another candidate just launched their campaign.
You're watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
7:26 now on this Tuesday morning. Joseph Live, you're next with the forecast coming up in just a minute. But first, no arrests have been made in connection. This is into a mass shooting in St. Paul yesterday. Authorities also looking for more victims. So gunfire first rang out. It was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Police say they found 4 men who had been shot. All of them are expected to survive. Now, one neighbor who didn't want to be on camera for safety reasons tells us they heard at least 30 shots fired. Investigators are still sorting out what led up to that shooting. Let's take a look now at your next drive. I'm going to take you down to the Richfield area. It says Highway 77. I take you to this spot because MnDOT calls it partially covered. You can see it doesn't have snow on there, but there is a sheen to it. This is what we're seeing just across the Meso. Just be careful. There might be some icy patches. Over on the Metro map, though, no major crashes, but you can see things are starting to pick up here at 7:27. Joseph?
Yeah, we've had some patchy freezing fog embedded into this cold air this morning, too. So just watch out for those icy spots, as Heather pointed out. Feels like temperatures below 0 out west. Feels like 5 right now coming out of the cities, okay? Bundle up. This afternoon, I have temperatures warming up to probably the lower to mid-20s with a chance for some flurries as we head into this evening. Maybe a small coating that can make the roads a little more slippery as we go into tomorrow morning. A few more snow chances Friday or Saturday. We'll talk more about that coming up at 7:30 and 8 a.m.
You're watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
Next on WCCO Mornings, a mass shooting in St. Paul and a search still underway for a suspect and possibly more victims. What residents need to know.
Plus, we're looking into a review showing the amount of illegally issued commercial driver's licenses in Minnesota.
There's new information that we're learning this morning about an apartment fire in Robbinsdale.
And the pool for candidates for Minnesota governor continues to expand as another Republican throws their hat into the ring.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm AJ Hilton.
And I'm Heather Brown.
This morning, neighbors in St. Paul shaken after hearing dozens of gunshots outside their homes.
4 people were hurt in a mass shooting, and some we spoke with believe this incident shows a growing problem. Now, we caught up with people who live nearby. This is near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Some described hearing at least 30 gunshots. One neighbor said they saw victims running, falling, and yelling for help. Another tells us she had called police minutes earlier and then suddenly heard the shots. People we spoke with did not want to show their faces because of the safety concerns, but they did not hold back on what they believe is the issue.
I heard about 10 to 12 shots to start with. They were real fast and rapid, and then a silence, and then about maybe 4 to 5 more. I wish whoever is doing all these shootings, let alone gunfires, would stop. They need to change the gunshot laws. It's too easy for people to get guns.
St. Paul police believe there could be additional victims. Again, right now, no arrests have been made, and investigators are working to determine who is responsible.
New this morning, 1 man is dead. This is after a fire in Fairmount. It's about 2 hours south of the Twin Cities. It happened yesterday just before 5 p.m. Authorities responded to that fire on South Park Street. Officers found the basement engulfed when they got there. 2 residents went to the hospital for smoke inhalation and burns. Sadly, one of them died. The other treated and released. 4 firefighters also treated for smoke inhalation. Officials say a cause for the fire is still being investigated.
New details this morning following a Robbinsdale apartment fire that hurt 1 person and ruined 12 units. It happened just before 6 o'clock Sunday night along West Broadway. Several crews were called in to help, and they rescued a person who had been trapped on the 3rd floor. Fire officials say a man was hurt after running into the burning building, but he is expected to recover. We were there again yesterday and found a resident trying to collect what she could.
We're back into the apartment. We're moving things out that we need immediately, but we don't know when we're actually going to be able to stay at the apartment.
Red Cross is helping those without a place to live. No word yet on the cause of the fire.
Happening today, Governor Walz will provide an update on the paid leave program rollout. The application will go live tomorrow for Minnesotans who welcomed a child this year. Paid leave gives workers paid, job-protected time off for major life events. Governor Walz will speak at a Minneapolis small business this morning. That's scheduled to happen at 9 a.m.
A federal agency is turning its eyes on Minnesota.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced last night an annual review found in Minnesota 1/3 of commercial driver's licenses, or CDLs, specifically for non-U.S. citizens, were issued illegally. Now, this is for non-domiciled CDL, which is a license for drivers who are not permanent residents or U.S. citizens. The audit found more than 2,000 licenses to be incorrect, and in some cases, the administration says non-domiciled licenses went to people who should have received a regular CDL. In others, the non-domiciled CDLs went to people who were legally no longer allowed in the United States. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says Minnesota now has 30 days to revoke the illegally issued licenses or risk losing up to $30 million in federal highway funding. In a statement, Duffy said, quote, Minnesota failed to follow the law and illegally doled out trucking licenses to unsafe, unqualified non-citizens, endangering American families on the road, end quote. Now, these findings were part of an annual program review that started in September. We have reached out to the Minnesota Department of Transportation and the governor's office about the review. We have yet to hear back.
The former CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce is headed to prison. He pleaded guilty to stealing more than $200,000 from the organization. Federal prosecutors say Jonathan Weinhagen stole money from the chamber over 5 years. They claim $30,000 came from a reward that he had asked Crime Stoppers to refund to him after the chamber donated it. That was after the deadly shooting of 2 children in Minneapolis back in 2021. Prosecutors also say Weinhagen used a chamber credit card to fly himself and his family first class to Hawaii. The 42-year-old faces up to 33 months in prison, plus fines and restitution payments.
A new candidate has jumped into the race to lead the state of Minnesota, hoping to be the Republican nominee to take on incumbent DFL Governor Tim Walz. Attorney Chris Maddle launched his campaign from his law office in Minneapolis yesterday. Now, he notably made headlines as the defense attorney for a state patrol trooper who faced murder charges in a deadly shooting 2 years ago before that case was dismissed. He says his key focus is attacking fraud-riddling state programs like making government more efficient and strengthening schools and supporting police.
Why run when there's other Republican candidates? Because Tim Walz sucks is not a strategy. Republicans love to say that Tim Walz sucks, and that's where it pretty much ends.
Maddle joins a crowded field that includes 2022 GOP nominee Scott Jensen and House Speaker Lisa Dameth.
It is now 7:36. It is cloudy outside, and Joseph is here with more details on just how cold it's going to get for us.
It's going to get too cold, too cold. You know, it's the start of December. We should be about 34 degrees and 20 overnight. That's cold in its own right, but we're way below that. I don't necessarily think we need to be this cold yet. We have a long winter coming, but you know what? It's really led to some beautiful scenes out there with the snow moving on in just right around the holiday. All right, the rest of the week, I still have flurries here or there. This is what Heather was just mentioning. It's going to get cold, and it's already cold, and I have us getting even colder as we go through the next, 48 hours. And then I have some sunshine in the forecast, but I have more clouds probably in the forecast than sun this week. But I do think that we will get some sunshine today. I think we'll see some sun today, specifically kind of working in through the morning through midday. And then we'll see more clouds taking over later today. We're avoiding this massive mess to the east. Wow, this system is bringing in rain, a wintry mix, a ton of snow for areas of Pennsylvania, New York, moving into Connecticut, New Hampshire, all of them, and tons of rain down through the Carolinas in the eastern seaboard there. So this is going to be a very messy situation. We're good here until that little blip of snow starts moving in, which is going to arrive later tonight. So snow late today, very, very low impact. In fact, maybe a trace, maybe a little coating out there. We could potentially avoid it altogether in the metro area where it might just skip us down to the southeast. That's also a possibility. Have us dry and cold the next couple of days, but no snow. And then late Thursday night and Friday, we'll be watching for something. Friday night into Saturday as well, okay? So we definitely have a little something that's eyeing maybe the metro area as we go into Friday or Saturday. As far as the one tonight, I mentioned maybe a coating or just a small amount, scant amounts across the area. This is our snowfall potential for tonight. Let me show you the timing of all of this, all right? I'm going to take us into the afternoon. You'll see some broken clouds around. You'll notice how they thicken up later today. Now we start seeing some snow across the state. I think basically northeast of the cities and southwest of the cities. But as we approach about 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., I think we'll probably catch some very light snow. The best chance for that will be southeast of us. Clears out, and by the time we go into our Wednesday, we bring back the sunshine, and temperatures will be a little bit cooler. Then the cold air, the coldest of the season so far, really settles in, and even cold for January or February. Watch what happens. Our temperatures drop down to about 5 below Thursday morning. Double digits there out to the west. And also wind chills probably about 15 to 25 or 30 below, depending on your location. So it is going to be a very, very cold morning as we go into Thursday. Late Thursday night, you'll see some clouds around. We'll keep those clouds all day Friday. And here's our second chance, really, to see some snow. It is trending down, though. So maybe we end up with drier air. And hopefully we'll just skip out on it. We have plenty on the ground already, but there's a possibility that we see a little more. This is a week that we will be building ice on the lakes. I know a lot of you are excited about that, especially with those cold nights coming up. I see us below freezing all the way through the weekend into next week. I will say this. There's a small chance that we start warming back up to the upper 20s. You can see that almost happening Monday. Next week, maybe even lower 30s. So I think we've become a little more mild our second or third week of December. For now, though, it is cold, and the coldest is yet to come. That will be Thursday morning.
It'll be here soon, Joseph.
That's right.
Thank you. Let's focus on your next drive right now. And I want to bring you out to 394 just outside of downtown Minneapolis. Now, we did just check the 511 map, and it said that there was a crash here. But this is typically what we see on a weekday morning at 7:40. A little bit of a backup as you're going into downtown Minneapolis, but nothing that's really major that's going to slow you down. Be careful, though, because there could be a sheen on the roads depending on where you are. We have seen a couple of spin-out accidents, but right now, take a look at that traffic map. For the most part, it's pretty good. You see those red zones, those orange zones, those yellow zones. Those are typically slowed down areas that we see. But again, no traffic crashes that we are following that should slow you down on this Tuesday morning.
Trump administration officials are stepping up the diplomatic push to end the war in Ukraine.
Now this as the U.S. continues its military buildup in the Caribbean amid scrutiny of U.S. strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff are set to meet Tuesday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow.
I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
For months, President Trump has been working to broker an end to the fighting sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
Last month, we had 27,000 people killed in that ridiculous war that should have never happened.
While that diplomacy plays out, the Trump administration is stepping up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, moving the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier to St. Thomas. This comes as one of the 21 drug boat strikes on suspected narco-terrorists is now under growing scrutiny. The Washington Post reported Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on board before a vessel attack on September 2nd. When 2 people survived, the Post says the Special Operations Commander overseeing the attack ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, and the 2 men were blown apart in the water. While Hegseth has denied he gave any such order, Democratic and Republican lawmakers are vowing to investigate.
There's a lack of clarity in what is a very significant military action.
We'll begin our oversight and get to the facts.
On Thursday, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, who the White House said ordered the second strike, is expected to provide a classified briefing to lawmakers overseeing the military. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump met with his national security team Monday to talk about Venezuela and what the U.S. plans to do next in the region. We'll keep you updated on what happens moving forward.
The accused killer of United Healthcare CEO is expected to be back in New York State Court today. Luigi Mangione was president there yesterday. He was wearing civilian clothes and was unshackled for a hearing that began yesterday and continues today. His lawyers are hoping to remove some of the evidence from the trial, which includes the surveillance video of the shooting itself and the backpack that was found on him when he was arrested days later. Now, they argue it was searched without a warrant and that Mangione was not read his rights. The hearing is expected to last several days. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to the state and federal charges against him.
For your money this morning, well, some bad news if you've been spending big on holiday gifts.
Way to tell me right after Cyber Monday. Yeah, we're going to tell you why you're actually paying more for less this year.
And more weight loss drugs are seeing a drop in price. We'll tell you how much cheaper Zepbound will be as it tries to compete with other weight loss drugs. Shoppers paying more for less, and another drug company cuts the price on a popular weight loss drug. Looking out for your money headlines this morning. There's a sense of shrinkflation hovering over the holiday season because U.S. consumers are paying more, but they're getting less. That's according to Salesforce. Analysts there say online shopping in the U.S. rose by 3% on Black Friday. However, that was caused in part by a 7% hike in prices. Order volume, which tallies how much was purchased in a certain amount of time, fell 1% compared to Black Friday 2024. And Salesforce says historic tariff increases are a large factor in pricier products. Consumers are also buying more expensive items, including luxury and home goods. Gallup reports U.S. households of low to middle income say they plan to spend less this holiday season, while high-income consumers say they plan to spend a little more than they did last year. A drug that helps people lose weight now has a slimmer price tag. That's because Eli Lilly announced Zepbound. It's going to cost less for those who buy the medication straight from the drug maker. The cuts range from $50 to $100, and company officials say this will help fight, quote, costs and coverage barriers. It comes a couple of weeks after rival Novo Nordisk said it would drop the prices for its weight loss drugs Wegovy and Ozempic, which is the perfect segue into Health Watch this morning. There's a UC San Francisco study that found an experimental immunotherapy treatment helped HIV patients keep the virus under control without longer-term antiviral drugs, which is unprecedented. The study authors say they're closer to developing a therapy that would let HIV patients live without lifelong medications. And there's an alarming rise in cases of breast cancer among young women. A study presented at a meeting of the Radiological Society of North America found, look at this, nearly a quarter of all breast cancer cases occurred among women ages 18 to 49. Researchers say this is concerning because currently there are no screening guidelines for women under the age of 40. So they're going to do some more research and dive into that. You can help make the season merry and bright for veterans. That's because WCCO is teaming up with the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. You know this is MACV. This is our yearly Home for the Holidays campaign. You can make a donation right now. All you have to do is text MACV to 44321. You can also give online at WCCO.com/holidays. Your gift can help local veterans find homes and jobs. And new this year, you can also help us decorate WCCO's community tree. This year it's at Mall of America. You can bring an ornament to the rotunda when you're shopping over the next 3 weekends. The tree will go to a veteran's home just in time for the holidays. Yesterday, First Lady Melania Trump revealed this year's White House holiday decorations. Betsy Klein takes us on a tour.
First Lady Melania Trump played it pretty safe this year with the White House holiday decorations. Remember those controversial blood red trees from 2018? Well, there's nothing like that this year. The most unusual detail might be a 6,000-piece Lego puzzle of the president's face. Let's go inside. This year's theme is Home is Where the Heart Is, and after a 3-month hiatus due to the president's ballroom construction, tours of the People's House will officially reopen to the public for the holidays with an abbreviated and reimagined route due to the ongoing construction. Now, the demolished East Wing won't be part of this year's tour, but visitors can enter through the front door of the White House to the East Room, decorated in honor of the country's 250th anniversary. A 120-pound gingerbread White House meticulously constructed by the pastry chefs in the state dining room. The Red Room highlights the First Lady's Be Best platform and children in foster care with blue butterflies. The official White House Christmas tree is the star of the Blue Room, decked with gold stars and ornaments featuring each state and territory's official bird and flower.
Let's give you a live look outside this morning. See that next weather tower? It is glowing green. Let's check in with next weather meteorologist Joseph Dames.
We have a Tuesday morning here. Good morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Joseph Dames. Temperatures today topping off in the 20s. Again, below average again. We should be about 34 degrees this time of the month in early December, and we're falling short of that. We'll be in and out of some clouds today, more so this afternoon into the evening is when the clouds really take over, and that's when we have a chance to see a little bit of snowfall around here. We have a couple opportunities week again on Friday, and then we'll be looking at Saturday too.
Joseph, thank you. Let's quickly focus on your next drive. So a couple of pop-up crashes that have popped up, one in St. Paul, one looks to be in the Eagan area, and these are very, very minor in nature. I'm going to take you out to St. Paul first. You can see this on 94 at Cretin Avenue. This is going eastbound, so traffic going toward Minneapolis this morning. You see that crash is off to the side of the road. Roads could be slick depending on where you are, but you can see right now it's not necessarily backing up traffic. The other one is on 494. This crash is also eastbound, so traffic that is coming into town. Again, you can see this is off to the side of the road, so it's not backing up traffic, but I show you these to show you that it could be slick depending on where you are. So you do still want to take it slow because we've seen some foggy conditions and we know that freezing fog, it can do a number on the roads. Now, as always, we work to keep you up to date with the latest news, the latest weather developments all day here on the stream. And here's something coming up on mid-morning at 9. We're finding out about the inspiration behind the 12 cocktails of Christmas that you can enjoy this holiday season at Red Rabbit. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that at 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more news headlines afterwards.
You're watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm AJ Hilton. Joseph Dames will tag in with your next weather forecast in just a second. I want to start with a South Carolina man who is facing a felony charge in Minnesota after threatening local prosecutors. Charging documents reveal the man left Rochester prosecutors several threatening voicemails, stating, that he would travel to Minnesota to kill every last one of them. Investigators say they tracked the calls to his phone, and police told them he made the threats because he was angry. Prosecutors charged a Rochester woman in this video with making racial slurs at a playground. He's due in court for his first court appearance next May. Again, he's in South Carolina. When it comes to your next drive, we actually have some good news. A crash just cleared on 394 eastbound. First responders just left here, but roads have been a little slick this morning, so you definitely want to take it slow because we've seen some fog and it has created a little bit of a sheen on the roads. Take a look at the traffic map. You can see here that crash in Minneapolis, like you mentioned, it just cleared, so we can go in and clear that. So for the most part, pretty good stop. Just normal stop and go traffic on this Tuesday morning, Joseph.
Yeah, even when it's not snowing, we still have winter driving that we have to worry about. You know, icy conditions, freezing fog. You could see some low clouds right now. And that next weather tower, it is green, which means we have maybe some flurries coming up as we go into tonight. It's 13 degrees. Boy, it feels like 1 because of the wind. A little more sunshine to the southwest. I have sun in the forecast today, but also some flurries, as I mentioned. We'll break it down at 8 a.m.
You're watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
Next on WCCO Mornings, a mass shooting in St. Paul. Police searching for a suspect as several people were hurt by gunfire. Then, the pool for candidates for Minnesota governor continues to expand as another Republican throws their hat in the ring. Plus, an NHL first. We hear from the commentators who called Friday's Minnesota Wild game in Ojibwe. What they're taking away from the historic night. And later, peace talks continue. U.S. officials set to meet with Russia's president as President Trump says there's a good chance a deal can be made to end the war in Ukraine. Good morning. Welcome to WCCO Mornings. We're live on our free streaming channel each weekday on CBS News Minnesota. I'm Maria Lizignoli. Let's get to your top headlines this morning. New this morning, police have identified the man killed in the Frogtown neighborhood Sunday morning. Police say 32-year-old Tariq Hassan was shot inside an apartment building on North Victoria Street. The shooting happened just before 2 a.m. Sunday. Police found Hassan face down with multiple gunshot wounds. He died at the scene. Another man has been arrested and faces multiple charges, including second-degree murder. Now we're following new developments out of St. Paul. Police are still searching for additional victims and suspects after a mass shooting yesterday. Our Barrett Leon was at the St. Paul Police Department earlier this morning and has the latest details on the case.
Right now, St. Paul police are still in the thick of investigating what led up to this shooting yesterday. And while there are no arrests in connection to this incident, police say that they do not believe there's a threat to the public at this time. Now, gunfire first rang out around 4:30 yesterday afternoon near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Police found 4 men shot, 2 in the street, 2 more behind a home nearby. All men are expected to survive. St. Paul police say canines and drones searched the area to make sure no one else was hurt. They're also looking for whoever pulled the trigger. One neighbor who didn't want to be on camera for safety reasons tell us they heard at least 30 shots fired.
I just heard a lot of shooting. I looked out my bathroom window and I saw people just running and I saw people stumbling and I said, oh, that guy limping and he must be shot. I'm a guy that come from this type of environment and I don't want to continue living in this environment. I want a better neighborhood for me and my kids.
Again, investigators are still sorting through what led up to this shooting yesterday, and no one has been arrested yet.
An update this morning to a shooting in Edina. Police say it was a Facebook marketplace deal gone wrong. Police found an 18-year-old with a gunshot wound in a grocery store parking lot off France Avenue in Edina on Sunday night. Police say the suspects are also teenagers, a 16 and a 17-year-old. Here's video from Sunday. You can see investigators taking a closer look at bullet holes in the side of a car. Police found the victim in a car in this parking lot, but they say the shooting actually happened at an apartment complex down the street. Investigators say they found footprints and tire tracks, but it was surveillance video that led them to the suspects. One man who lives nearby told us yesterday he was just waiting to hear if police had caught the shooter.
Me and my fiance, we went out together to take the dog out, just like we don't know, because we hadn't heard last night that anyone was caught. So we were very cautious last night.
Police tell us they believe the victim was in the car with the seller, and at this point they're not sure if the two groups knew each other. Lots of people use Facebook Marketplace, so here are some reminders to help you stay safe during a transaction. Meet in a public place. Many police departments have places like this to make a swap. Edina has a location inside their police department lobby. Don't make transactions alone. Avoid carrying large amounts of cash. And of course, if you're skeptical about the person you're meeting, just cancel it. It's not worth the risk. Edina police say during their investigation into these 2 teens, they found a ghost gun. And the 2 suspects were taken to the Hennepin County Juvenile Detention Center. A new candidate has jumped into the race to lead the state, hoping to be the Republican nominee to take on incumbent DFL Governor Tim Walz. Attorney Chris Maddle launched his campaign from his law office in Minneapolis yesterday.
Thank you so much.
He notably made headlines as the defense attorney for a state patrol trooper who faced murder charges in a fatal shooting 2 years ago before the case was dismissed. He says his key focus is attacking fraud in state programs, making government more efficient, strengthening schools, and supporting cops.
Why run when there's other Republican candidates? Because Tim Walz sucks is not a strategy. Republicans love to say that Tim Walz sucks, and that's where it pretty much ends.
Now, Maddle joins a crowded field that includes 2022 GOP nominee Scott Jensen and House Speaker Lisa Demuth. Trump administration officials are stepping up the diplomatic push to end the war in Ukraine. This is as the U.S. continues its military buildup in the Caribbean amid scrutiny of U.S. strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff are set to meet Tuesday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow.
I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
For months, President Trump has been working to broker an end to the fighting sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
Last month, we had 27,000 people killed in that ridiculous war that should have never happened. While that diplomacy plays out, the Trump administration is stepping up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, moving the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier to St. Thomas. This comes as one of the 21 drug boat strikes on suspected narco-terrorists is now under growing scrutiny. The Washington Post reported Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on board before a vessel attack on September 2nd. When 2 people survived, the Post says the Special Operations Commander overseeing the attack ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, and the 2 men were blown apart in the water. While Hegseth has denied he gave any such order, Democratic and Republican lawmakers are vowing to investigate.
There's a lack of clarity in what is a very significant military action.
We'll begin our oversight and get to the facts.
On Thursday, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, who the White House said ordered the second strike, is expected to provide a classified briefing to lawmakers overseeing the military. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump met with his national security team Monday to talk about Venezuela and what the U.S. plans to do next in the region. Let's take a live look outside downtown Minneapolis right now. We are looking at Nicollet Mall. As you can see, it's great that the streets are plowed after the snow emergency plowed those emergency routes yesterday. But again, remember, don't park on the even side today. And more snow could be on the way, Joseph.
Still a good reminder. Yeah, we're almost finished with that, but we aren't completely finished with chances for snow. I mean, we are going straight into winter here, and we've already had a very snowy start. I have some in the forecast even later today. That's why the next weather tower is green. Good morning to everyone. Happy Tuesday to you. Yes, the clouds are still around. Some of you are seeing sunshine, mainly southwest sections of the metro area and down to southwest Minnesota. For the rest of us, just the cloud cover over the top of us. All right, check this out. It is 13 degrees. That's the air temperature, but when you factor in the wind, it feels like 1 degree out there, and many of you are actually seeing feels like temperatures well below 1, down to this, below zero, sub-zero temperatures. So just watch out, bundle up this morning. Also be prepared for maybe some patchy areas of freezing fog. I mentioned you might see a little bit of sunshine as we work through the morning, but we got to get through this first. It looks like you got to get beyond even Glencoe to really start seeing some sun out there, okay? So I take back what I said. The Southwest Metro is still just a little too cloudy probably. There might be a few breaks down in Scott County there. The rest of the state, Southwest, looking pretty good. Northwest clouds in place, and you see some patchy snow. That's on the way, and that will pick up later tonight. It's not going to be anything that's worth talking about other than the fact that we might get a little coating overnight tonight that can mess with the roads a bit. Temperature change versus 24 hours ago. It's warmer where there's clouds. It is cooler where those clouds do not exist right now. So out west where you're getting some sunshine, the price that you'll have to pay with that is the fact that it's going to be colder than the rest of the state. Wind speeds about 5 to 10 miles per hour, stronger up north Maria. And because of that, again, wind chills are going to be a little more cruel. We have 13 below what the feels like temperature out of Fargo, which isn't great. But in a couple days, that may be us sitting in the cities at something like that. Just a little foreshadowing that we have some cold air on the way. This afternoon, though, we're actually going to build those temperatures up, and that's going to be our best bet to see a little bit of snow action before it dries up very quickly and we start cooling down as we head into our Wednesday. Outside of a chance for a little bit of snow late tonight, I have another shot Friday and potentially on Saturday. We'll break down how much we could get out of all these little brief moments of snow, and we'll talk more about the timing of that coming up at 8:30.
Joseph, I didn't hear if you said wind chill was going to be more cool or cruel, but I don't actually think it matters. Both apply.
It was cruel. It was cruel.
Okay.
Cool does apply too, though. Yeah.
Cool. Let's take a look at your next drive. We're not following any major crashes, but we do want to take you to going into downtown. This is between Lake Street and Exit 7 at Penn Avenue. Look out for a crash there that's causing, as you can see, delays, though this is pretty typical for this time of the day, so give yourself extra time as you're heading into downtown Minneapolis. Here's a fun way to stay active while escaping the cold. Starting today, runners or skaters can race around the concourse at US Bank Stadium. The winter warm-up program is open most Tuesday and Thursday evenings for about the next 8 weeks. It's open to all ages. Tickets are $15 and you can get them online at usbankstadium.com. And whether you like it or not, winter weather is here. And for the folks building the St. Paul ice castles, it's actually a very welcome sight. Ice artisans are hard at work getting their icicles together to create the amazing structures. You can see here frozen facades coming together to create fortresses, slides, and tunnels. And guess what? Tickets are going on sale today for those who want to check it all out. The ice castles are expected to be ready in early January, but of course that could all change depending on the weather. The hits just keep coming for the Vikings. The popular player who's leaving the team to try and get more playing time before he hangs up the cleats. A history-making moment, how the Minnesota Wild changed the game in the broadcast booth. That's next. It was a Minnesota Wild game like any other, unlike any other. It had to do with this call of the game. Photojournalists Nick Luneman and Derek James take us inside the booth where three announcers helped make NHL history while honoring a language rooted in this land.
Friday night, a new sound for the Minnesota Wild broadcast. first time the game was called entirely in Ojibwe.
Oh, it was amazing. Not only because of what we're doing here, but I've always wanted to do play-by-play for a hockey game.
A dream Majigoneash Jourdain never expected to live.
As a child, you aspire to play in the NHL. I finally made it, but in a different way, with my mouth instead of my skates.
A first language speaker, he's leading a 3-generation booth and feeling the weight of what this night meant.
It didn't dawn on me until I came up the elevator.
And for many, just hearing the Ojibwe language on an NHL broadcast was a moment rooted in culture.
I always think about our elders and the sense of pride and continue on the things that they left behind for us, such as our language.
A subtle reminder of how much culture filled the arena that night as jingle dancers from the Mille Lacs Band made their presence known. Back upstairs, you could see it too. The energy, the pride, the sense of belonging.
Oh, I'm still going to cry about it later. I'm really happy. I really truly believe that everybody has a purpose. Ojibwe language is that for me.
It was amazing to be able to, meet the other announcers and to be able to have access to them if we need to, because they all offered their help.
As if it were meant to be. The game didn't let these three go home without a little edge-of-your-seat action to end the night. With photojournalist Nick Luneman, Derek James, WCCO News.
The group says this is just the beginning. They'd love to bring Ojibwe play-by-play to more wild games, maybe even the Vikings or Timberwolves someday. All right, here's a look at what else is coming up in sports.
Good morning. The Minnesota Vikings are playing out the season, to be sure, trying to figure out what's next. And so far, it just hasn't gone well. Obviously, the quarterback position is the key to all this. J.J. McCarthy expected to be back playing this Sunday against Washington. Kevin O'Connell says this has just been a tough season.
The standard we talk about of offensive football around here, our fans have seen, at least since I've been here, a certain way that no matter what, you kind of know you should be seeing some things when you show up to watch the Vikings play. And so I understand when the frustration sets in. I understand how passionate our fans are.
Compounding it, Adam Thielen officially asked for his release from the team. They gave it to him so he can go play somewhere else, perhaps try to chase a ring and a Super Bowl. One of his current teammates, I guess now former teammates, has played with him for a while. We'll miss him.
And he's another guy who kind of made his way up through the ranks and showed what he has. And he's a hell of a receiver, hell of a guy, hell of a leader. So don't really know what to say, but I love the guy.
You guys go back a few years, though.
Yeah, we go back for I've been in the league for 9 years. He's been in the league for, going on 20, 30 years. So.
Minnesota Wild take on Edmonton tonight, a talented team that's been a bit up and down this season. The Wild lost their win streak at 7 straight to the worst road team in the league when they played Buffalo at home. Doesn't make sense, but it does. Wild still on a roll, though, and their goalie understands it.
I think our structure overall has been really good. I think that's what is going to make us successful. The game plan and the structure we play with has improved from the beginning, and then we can just branch out from there and use our skill.
NCAA volleyball tournament coming to Maturi Pavilion on Friday. Included in the field of the University of St. Thomas, the first time they've made the Division I tournament since they've gone Division I. First time they've been eligible as well. They can't wait.
I love being the underdog. I love being able to, break bounds, do different things. That's super exciting for me. And I think it alleviates a lot of the pressure, too, as being the underdog.
Golden Gophers are the host school. They'll take on Fairfield Friday. Well, St. Thomas meets Iowa State. I'm Mike Max for CBS News Minnesota, and that is your morning look at sports.
Coming up, another update on the weather, plus more of this morning's top headlines. Then, new updates in the case of a former CEO accused of stealing money from the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. Details on the sentence he now faces. And the new information we're learning this morning about an apartment fire in Robbinsdale.
watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Barrett Leone. Joseph James will have your next weather forecast in just a minute. But first, no arrests have been made in connection to a mass shooting in St. Paul yesterday. Authorities are also looking for more victims. Gunfire first rang out around 4:30 yesterday afternoon near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Police found 4 men who had been shot. All men are expected to survive. One neighbor who did not want to be on camera for safety reasons tells us that he heard at least 30 shots fired. Investigators are still sorting out what led up to the shooting. And happening today, Governor Tim Walz will provide an update on the paid leave program rollout. The application will go live tomorrow for Minnesotans who welcomed a child this year. Paid leave gives workers paid, job-protected time off for major life events. The governor will speak at a Minneapolis small business this morning at 9. Let's take a look at your next drive this morning. The time is 8:26. We're not seeing too many issues, but a few red areas typical for this time of day. Let's take you out to Eagan, where we're seeing quite a backup on 35E. This is southbound at Diffley Road. We know there was a crash earlier this morning in this area. Right now it appears that crash is cleared, but dealing with some backup there and some fog too. It looks a little cloudy out there. Let's check in now with Joseph.
Yeah, it's 14 degrees out too, Barrett. So freezing fog is a possibility this morning. May even see some snow also coming out of some of those low clouds. So just take your time this morning. It's winter driving. Here we are in early December. It feels like one outside. The feels like temperature is brutal right now. This afternoon I have us warming up some, but with that, I have a chance for maybe a few more flurries and potentially even a coating of snowfall late tonight. Okay, so we have a shot for some snow later today. Then we get a couple of dry, cold days, and then maybe some more snow towards the end of the week, which I'll discuss coming up.
watching WCCO Mornings, always streaming on CBS News Minnesota.
Next on WCCO Mornings, a mass shooting in St. Paul. Police searching for a suspect as several people were hurt by gunfire. Then more fraud charges. Another man now indicted and connected to a Minnesota nonprofit. How much investigators claim he stole. Plus, federal funding at risk, why the Department of Transportation could pull funds from Minnesota and how much money could be withheld if certain changes aren't made. And later, see the personal connection helping tell the story of St. Paul's Winter Carnival in a downtown display. Good morning. Welcome to WCCO Mornings, streaming live on CBS News Minnesota. I'm Barrett Leone. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get to your top headlines this morning. Neighbors in St. Paul are shaken after hearing dozens of gunshots outside their homes. 4 people were hurt in a mass shooting, and some people we spoke to believe that this incident shows a growing problem. We caught up with a few residents near 4th Street East and Earl Street. Some described hearing at least 30 gunshots. One neighbor said they saw victims running, falling, and yelling for help. Another tells us she had called police minutes earlier, then suddenly heard gunshots. People we spoke to did not want to show their faces due to safety concerns, but did not hold back on what they believe is the issue.
I heard about 10 to 12 shots to start with. They were real fast and rapid, and then a silence, and then about maybe 4 to 5 more. I wish whoever is doing all these shootings, let alone gunfires, would stop. They need to change the gunshot laws. It's too easy for people to get guns.
St. Paul police believe there could be additional victims. Again, right now, no arrests have been made, and investigators are working to determine who is responsible. New this morning, one man is dead after a fire in Fairmount. It happened yesterday before 5 p.m. Authorities responded to a fire on South Park Street. Officers found the basement engulfed when they arrived. 2 residents were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation and burns. One of them died while the other was treated and released. 4 firefighters were also treated for smoke inhalation. Officials say the cause for the fire is still under investigation. There are new details following a Robbinsdale apartment fire that hurt 1 person and ruined 12 units. It happened just before 6 Sunday night along West Broadway. Several crews were called in to help, and they rescued a person trapped on the 3rd floor using ladders. Fire officials say a man was hurt after running into the burning building, but is expected to recover. We were there yesterday again and found a resident trying to collect what she could.
We're back into the apartment. We're moving things out that we need immediately, but we don't know when we're actually going to be able to stay at the apartment.
The Red Cross is helping those without a place to live. No word yet on the cause of the fire. Happening today, Governor Tim Walz will provide an update on the paid leave program rollout. The application will go live tomorrow for Minnesotans who welcomed a child this year. Paid leave gives workers paid, job-protected time off for major life events. The governor will speak at a Minneapolis small business this morning at 9. And a federal agency is turning its eyes on Minnesota. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced last Monday night, an annual review found in Minnesota 1/3 of commercial driver's license, or CDLs, specifically for non-U.S. citizens, were issued illegally. This is for non-domiciled CDL, which is a license for drivers who are not permanent residents or U.S. citizens. The audit found more than 2,000 licenses to be incorrect. In some cases, the administration says non-domiciled licenses went to people who should have received a regular CDL. In others, the non-domiciled CDLs went to people who were legally no longer allowed in the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says Minnesota now has 30 days to revoke the illegally issued licenses or risk losing up to $30 million in federal funding. In a statement, Secretary Duffy said, quote, Minnesota failed to follow the law and illegally doled out trucking licenses to unsafe, unqualified non-citizens, endangering American families on the road. These findings were part of an annual program review that began in September. We have reached out to the governor's office about this review and have not yet heard back.
The former CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce is headed to prison. He pleaded guilty to stealing more than $200 grand from the organization. Federal prosecutors say Jonathan Weinhagen stole money from the chamber over 5 years. They claim $30,000 came from a reward he asked Crime Stoppers to refund him after the chamber donated it. That was after the deadly shooting of 2 kids in Minneapolis in 2021. Prosecutors also say Weinhagen used a chamber credit card to fly himself and his family first class to Hawaii. The 42-year-old faces up to 33 months in prison, plus fines and restitution payments. New fraud charges coming out related to pandemic relief programs. The U.S. Attorney's Office has charged Tony Robinson with 5 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy offenses. Officials say he participated in a fraud scheme of more than $1 million. They believe he worked with another man, Tezari El Amin Champion. Both Robinson and Champion are accused of using a nonprofit to submit fraudulent grant applications to government and private programs, then keeping the money for themselves. Champion pleaded guilty to his charges and was sentenced to 7 years in prison in mid-November. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the Trump administration is looking into whether Minnesota tax money found its way to a terrorist organization.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the Trump administration is looking into whether Minnesota tax money found its way to a terrorist organization. Bessent blames Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the Biden administration, saying they're investigating, quote, allegations that hardworking Minnesotans' tax dollars may have been diverted to the terrorist organization Al-Shabaab. Republican members of the Minnesota delegation called on the U.S. attorney to investigate the allegations late last month. President Donald Trump has repeatedly blamed Governor Walz and Minnesota's Somali community for fraud and crime in the state. And Walz says he welcomes a federal investigation. We will, of course, continue to bring you updates on this story as we learn more.
Thanks, Maria. This is a live look outside downtown Minneapolis. It's looking pretty dark and dreary, cloudy out there, a little bit overcast. Let's check in with Joseph because winter is here, Joseph.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mentioned earlier today that our average high temperature in the start of December should be 34 degrees. It should be above freezing. We should still be kind of holding on to some sort of warmth. And we decided to skip over that and go into temperatures that are more reflective of January. All right, so it is cold right now. We have just gone straight into winter, and that's where we're going to be for the rest of this week. I have flurries in the forecast. Some today, some tonight, and some later this week. I have us sitting in this cold pool of air, and in fact, it's probably going to get a little bit colder. I think Wednesday night into Thursday morning is where we kind of bottom out. We'll talk more about that in just 1 second. And I have some sunshine in the forecast, though more clouds overall, though I'm holding on to some hope that we end up seeing a little bit of sun here for us today. All right, we have a large system over towards the east. Snow, wintry mix, rain, all heading eastward away from us. This batch of snow up to the northwest there into Winnipeg, northwest portions of the state of Minnesota here. This is going to be the disturbance that will bother us a little bit later today, increasing our chance for snow late tonight. It's going to be a low impact system, maybe just a coating of some snow around here. It's also possible that we just avoid it altogether and it's more of a southeast Minnesota impact, but I am going to leave it in the forecast for now because I think it's going to happen. All right, I got a couple dry, cold days coming up. Then Friday and Saturday, we reintroduce some more snow into the forecast, and we may even see a little bit late Thursday night. All right, our chances are definitely going to go up towards the end of the week for now. As far as the one tonight, I mentioned just a coating out there. All the weather models have us at least about a trace and maybe slightly more as we go into tonight. I think they're actually it's hard to say that this small amount is overplaying the totals, but I just don't think we're going to get a lot tonight, but it is something that we'll have to watch for. All right, we're right on the fringe of clouds just about all day today. Sunnier skies down to the southwest, Barrett, cloudier skies up to the northeast. You'll see the snow kind of forming as we go into tonight, and this may be the reason why the snow totals have come up a little bit, because the weather models now are indicating a little more snowfall late tonight, really spreading across the area. Now, that's just one weather model, okay? Up to this point today and this morning and yesterday and the day before that, it really had not a lot of anything tonight, so we may have to throw this one out. but just keep in mind that there's a possibility that we get some coating snow, maybe upwards to even a quarter of an inch or so late tonight. Wednesday's dry. Wednesday night is dry. In fact, Wednesday's so dry, we don't have much cloud cover and we lose any sort of warmth, and Arctic air comes funneling in. And look at this. By Thursday overnight, the whole state likely going to be below zero with some very cold temperatures coming through. I have us down at 5 below right now. It may be colder than that. And that is just the air temperature. It is likely going to feel more like 15 degrees below zero. So that's cold any day in the winter, but it is specifically cold for this time of the year because we should be about 20 degrees and we're going to be about 25 to 35 degrees below our average by the time we go into Thursday night. It's a little too cold too soon. I wouldn't mind to hold off just a little bit. But you know what? It's going to build ice on the lakes, which everybody's excited for. And it's going to keep that snow on the ground, which really brightens things up, especially overnight. So it's good to see that. 29 on Friday, 29 on Saturday. So we do warm up a little bit, 29 to 20 rather. Overnight temperatures do dip down a little bit, Barrett. And by the time we get to Sunday, we're back down to 15 degrees. I do see some signs of maybe warming back up next week, but for now, it's going to be a cold week with a few chances for some snow.
Okay, thanks, Joseph. Yeah. Appreciate it. All right, let's take another look at your next drive. The time now is 8:41, and we are still dealing with that freezing fog that Joseph mentioned earlier. And it's making traffic move pretty slowly through this area in Eagan. This is 35E, southbound at Diffley Road. It's moving at a crawl there, again, because of that fog, and it might be creating some slick spots on the road. So take your time heading out the door, give yourself space between vehicles, and just move cautiously this morning. Coming up, another update on weather, plus more of this morning's top headlines. Then a tribute to tradition, the personal collection, helping tell the story of St. Paul's Winter Carnival in a downtown display. Welcome back. There's a new top dog in town. This is Soleil. She is a Belgian sheepdog, and she was named Best in Show at the National Dog Show over the weekend. She also won the herding group competition. Her handler says the crowd may have helped with their performance.
She was feeding off the energy. She loved the crowd. She loved the adrenaline. And when she feels that and she feels the passion behind everybody, it gets her excited. And the more cheering and the more elevated everything is, the more she feels confident. I mean, she loves it. And like I said, she loves the crowd. So it felt great.
Love that. Contestants are judged on overall appearance, temperament, and structure based on a breed's specific standards. St. Paul is home to the longest running winter carnival in the country. And as it celebrates a milestone anniversary, Derek James has a look at the new display of its history.
As St. Paul counts down to its 140th winter carnival, history comes alive in a Grand Avenue storefront.
You want to put the other one here?
Where Tommy Barrett and a team of volunteers are building a tribute to the city's beloved winter tradition.
You know, this little piece from 1887, heavy as can be, but this is what the king would hand out. Now, this is the only one we've seen, so this is an example where, look at this item, and we have a bunch of stuff. We got hats that they wore in the parade. We got the Hilux gnomes.
For Tommy, this isn't just about putting up a display. It's celebrating a legacy. Much of what you see here is his.
I've collected, going back to when I was first involved in Winter Carnival in 1971, ran for junior royalty and lost.
Which were the best years?
Oh, well, true. As they say, it's good to be king. So when I was Volcanus Rex, we traveled all over the country, as well as local communities, St. Paul. But the people you meet, the volunteers, it's just fabulous.
St. Paul is very unique in that they believe that coming together matters still.
Lisa Jacobson, the carnival's executive director, says that passion and participation from community is why the tradition continues in full form.
We're still 10 days. We've always been 10 days. We didn't cut that back, even during the hard times. You know, we rose up and said, we're going to do this no matter what it looks like.
From the signature buttons.
I mean, these first ones are the size of a penny.
Yes, yeah, and people, it's got a little hole. The bottom would wear it as a necklace. Or if you find one, keep it.
To the Ice Palace lithographs, the St. Paul Winter Carnival is about more than just the traditions surrounding the royal family and the Vulcan crew. It's about being a part of something bigger and connecting generations.
Bringing that legend to life in St. Paul. That's what keeps it going.
With photojournalist Tony Peterson.
Take a look at some of the history, get involved.
Derek James, WCCO News.
Such a neat tradition there. Here is a live look outside downtown Minneapolis. No sun today, we're missing it. A little chilly outside too, although it's better than yesterday. Let's check in with Joseph.
Boy, it's been cold to start off the month of December. Here we are on our Tuesday, December 2nd, and I have temperatures to kick off the morning. Yeah, in the teens, single digits in some locations. Now, this afternoon will warm up. I have an afternoon high temperature pushing the lower 20s, and as we start to see a chance for a little bit of snow, we'll see those temperatures even get a little bit warmer than that late tonight. Today, highs up north about 20, down south, mid-20s.
Thanks, Joseph. All right, let's take another look at your next drive. Okay, it's been a busy Tuesday morning. We're still seeing some red on your screen, but more green than the last 20 minutes or so, so that's a good sign. This is a look out in Eagan. This is what some folks are dealing with on their commute in today. It's really foggy out there. Some freezing fog, rather, not frog. So take your time out there. There might be some slick spots, low light headlights for dealing with fog, and just take your time out there because winter driving conditions, they're back. As always, we will continue to keep you up to date on the latest news and weather developments all day here on the stream. Coming up today on Mid-Morning at 9, we're finding out about the inspiration behind the 12 cocktails of Christmas you can enjoy this holiday season at Red Rabbit. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back with more headlines after a quick break.